Previously on Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Like that? What? Come on! It looks like it! Let me do it! God! How about now? Oh my god. I'm trying!
One eternity later.
Finally! Oh my god! I did that like 15 times! February 25th, 1206, District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals! Yes, you're getting in the way of my lovemaking, Gumshoe! Get out of here! Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all over. Why is he saying the same thing? And to top it all off, he called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. It says the same thing! I take it Lana's having you run errands again? Have you finished those errands? Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. What is that? Evidence law? Is that a duck? How cute! It's got a little, like, Sherlock Holmes hat and a pipe. Evidence law for dummies. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You can at least study some evidence law, really? Like, Phoenix does not know what he's doing. He's just here. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. From Miss Sky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat. Despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Oh my god, that face! Mr. Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. We're still in the tutorial mode, bitch! What?! What else is there left to do?! Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his already dead body. Oh! I said that! Oh my god! It all comes together now. That means the real killer is still out there, and it's obviously Damon Gant, because there's no one else, and he just looks evil. What? I'm going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 1252, District Court, courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your act. Oh, come on! Leave Edgeworth alone! He didn't do anything! Ho, ho, ho. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. What else is new? They can't touch me, bitch! Yes, well... normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, isn't easy to say. You see, there's some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have... Are they serious? Are they saying Edgeworth did it? Oh, struck a bargain? What? You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that! It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and, Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth our further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth really does love me! Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright. Do you realize this is your last chance? If you call the wrong witness, this trial's as good as over. The defense calls... The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Meekins! No! Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff! Please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Alrighty, sir! Oh, fuck you. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Because I'll go over there and kill you. Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, don't you, boy? But please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant. The court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto! What's with the grim face, my boy? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's made pretty clear already. Nope. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh? Like what? Like the role you played in all this. Son, either you're very brave, or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that our police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? What? Is that true? Can he do that? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Is that real? Is that just like a dumb game thing, or is that for real? Can a real police chief deny being testified? What? Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Oh, he's going to kill us all. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. The power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. Like a big old baby. Dead. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. Giggity. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. As I recall, the ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. Guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up, too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Nana Sky also present in this room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right. Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went down. I guess you could say. He got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that! The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went through his heart. Damn! What is wrong with you? What the fuck? That's not funny! Why are you laughing? That's not funny! Not as shocked as Neil when he died. I went to my office, found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled up. Okay, so... Alright, so he's saying that Lana moved the body to protect Emma. Because Emma pushed him into the armor and he got stabbed that way. Okay. And Dark passed out somehow. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yeah, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were the two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Back at it now. She must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body? It had already been moved. So that means... you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. In a way. As you can see, I had nothing to do with that forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what circumstances. Is that how it really went down? No. Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Were they? Always that smooth talker. Are you two flirting? Which piece of evidence ties Gantz to the forgery? Anna did admit to forging evidence. But that can't be the whole truth. Well, it's gotta be the stuff that we found in his safe. Somehow I gotta link Gantz to the incident. Yes, it's gotta be like the jar. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found in your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gantz, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gantz, what is the meaning of this? Oh! Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So, you admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery? Oh, me? Or do you mean you? What? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? No, I didn't do that! However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work! Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and the relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Evidence and forgery. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Those kneecaps are mine, boy. No! I need my kneecaps! Oh! Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. Oh, Lord. I already don't have any money. I can't get sued. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that judge? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udgy. In return, though, I know. That place, right? What? What place? Huh? What are these guys? What are these telepathic? They're going to see... We're going to the strip club! For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. I'd appreciate it if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Phoenix is a cow tipper! Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Righto's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. Oh, fuck. And none of us wore gloves or wiped down the safe before we left! I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. I don't know, Von Karma was kind of slimy. I don't know, who's worse? What do you guys think? Who's the better villain? Gant or Von Karma? Anyway, you can't prove when these pieces of evidence were discovered. Oh wait, no, fuck. I didn't press that. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, boy. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying that this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence report. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The Chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know! Come on, Edgeworth, help me! Come now, Rado! Think about it. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent, boy! Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. In the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gantz? At the very least, there's one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That you're the freaking Chief of Police now! That would of course be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh! The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one, boy! Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Oh, fuck! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. You might wind up with a finger missing. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. I look out for numero uno, me. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I! I don't care about nobody. There it is, out in the open. I don't give a fuck about any of y'all. I'll kill every single one of you. Chief Gut, what are you saying? I'm the Chief of Police, boy. Urgent, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? Oh, by all means, please do. Just don't hurt me. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Oh. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? You think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. Alright, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there had been something in it for him, given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? No. Point out accomplice. Oh! Wait! He would have had a motive! Remember, when we talked to Angel? After the whole SL9 incident happened, he sent Lana to the prosecutor's office, and then she became the chief prosecutor. But Lana's under Gant's thumb for some reason. Okay. So, Emma accidentally killed Neil. And then Lana, trying to protect her sister, rearranged everything to make it look like Dark did it. Gant found out, and he was like, okay, how can I use this for my benefit? Okay, Lana, you're gonna become the chief prosecutor, and I know your little secrets. If you do anything to me, everything's coming out. So now, he's in charge of the police, and technically, because Lana does whatever he says, he's in charge of the prosecutors. Accomplice. Sure, you might not help anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to betray the chief. As a nice man who likes to lend people a hand— No! That's not what I mean! Yes, the chief is very nice. I heard rumors that he'll give you $50 if you ask. That's right, boy! Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? It's Lana. Take that! Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. The defendant?! I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance— I mean, just look at him, the man is handsome! He plays with puppets? Oh my god! Shut the fuck up! Oh, wait! You must mean puppet as someone forced to do his bidding! How about a judge? Oh my god! Admit it, Chief! You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana, she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. Oh! This incident? Well, which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Goodman. Okay, so Gant killed Goodman for some reason, and then he made Lana move the body for him, because obviously he's not going to do it himself and risk himself getting caught, and he threatened Lana saying, if you don't do this, you know what's going to happen, so Lana just had to do what she had to do to protect Emma. Oh, man! The chief prosecutor had been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone had been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue, or You'll wake up with it missing. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Oh! Judge, he is threatening us! He is threatening Edgeworth! If he was innocent, why would he be saying that? You wouldn't want to get hurt, boy. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What?! Order! Order! I said order! Mr. Wright! You can't be serious! Huh? Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency! To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder! That's impossible! It's ludicrous! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's like, oh, I didn't say that, it was Edgeworth. How. It's too late, Mr. Wright. You're not pinning the blame of this on me. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? The Chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder. Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Oh, Lord. Show us this evidence that ties the Chief to the murder. To the murder. Oh, we still haven't proven that he's Lucky 7. This is it. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Cause his ID number is the same number as his safe, where all his evidence is. There was one ID on the list that we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777. I think I said that right. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean he's not that dumb, is he? If you really think about it, that is really dumb. First of all, okay, maybe he can't control what his ID card is. Maybe it's like computer generated. But to make your safe that's in your office that basically has the 2 pieces of evidence that link you to a murder, to have that hidden behind a code that is just the same number 7 times? That makes no sense. I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. Same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant. Oh, look at him now! You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Oh, look at him! He's about to break our necks! Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulation. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. Edgeworth! What are you doing? But right now, this court demands an explanation from you. Edgeworth, I thought you loved me. About the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone. What do you think? I'm some kind of fruit? As I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. In days? You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Victim's memo. The lost item report! Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yeah, you are in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. No, he filed it! How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh! Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective into the evidence room. I accompanied him? Mm-hmm. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. That's right, and we still don't know about that big pool of blood that the luminol spray found in the evidence room, so Goodman died in there. Hold on, let me guess what you're gonna say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Yes, exactly. But wait! The Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yeah. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Judge, shut up! You're not helping! Sorry, that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Oh! What was that? What was that? What was that? That was amazing! He went all electrocutey! Chief Gant, you didn't! The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor office's parking lot. How did you manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. What? How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this! What did he use? Huh? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh! Oh! Wait! Okay. Remember? Okay, so Goodman's body was in Edgeworth's trunk, right? Remember when Edgeworth said the chief called him to get some random evidence? So Edgeworth came to him. You know, he came to get the evidence. And then Gant, or Lana, Lana, brought the body down to shove it in Edgeworth's car! Yeah! This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? Screwdriver? What does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Come on, Edgeworth. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to! You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car! Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Oh! Okay, so Gant was the one that shoved Goodman into Edgeworth's car. Okay. Order! Order! What's going on here? What is happening? This is ludicrous! Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something! I believe... Yo, time's up. Huh? What do you mean? My time's up? Sorry, righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're gonna make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet! remember what I told you earlier. A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. Oh, come on, Judge! What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. David Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Sky dispose of the body. Do I have any concrete proof? I don't think... Wait. Do we? Concrete proof that he killed Goodman. I don't think we do. Let me see his autopsy. Date and time of death, February 21st, 4 p.m. and 5:30. Loss of blood from the chest. He died at 4. When did... Gant came in at 4:20, so that lines up. Oh, but that doesn't mean anything. That just means that time-wise he could have done it, but I don't have definitive proof. Evidence law? Rules for submitting evidence. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. I don't think we do. I have no proof yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See you. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Udgy, I'll leave the rest to you. No! I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Oh, thank God. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Oh, we're just gonna call in Lana? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one who calls witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls forth Lana Sky. The defendant, Miss Lana Sky! She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on! He's back! I thought you were going to go eat! What about the early bird special? At Denny's! Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. Judge! He is publicly threatening someone right in front of you. You don't think that's suspicious? There will be consequences if she testifies? Judge! That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Oh my God. Judge, did you not hear what he just said? And you're just gonna let him walk out to go eat pancakes? And she was a... How can you convict her of murder? She was a child! And... What? Of course you'd never support such an outrageous claim anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I got a lunch date to meet. Oh my God! Oh, okay. So, on to any further objections. Judge. Does the judge really have so little power? Is his only job just to sit there? Like, he can't do anything? He can't force Gant not to leave, or... I don't know. This court is now in recess. No! February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. Looks like they managed to stay in the game. Yeah. Thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe, you're ruining my bonding time with Edgeworth! Go away! I'm not a detective anyway. Oh, you got fired? Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, I forgot! When we were investigating, Gant's office, we got caught. And Gant was like, you know, Gumshoe, give me your ID card on the way out. So, yeah, he got fired. Oh, damn. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. What? Really? My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knot girl you used to work with. No! You can't take the place of Maya. Could he mean... Maya! Oh, I haven't seen you in forever. Please come back. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Is he for real though? Will he be my Maya in the next game? Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma! Are you okay? Yeah, Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be! It was the truth! You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Aww, see, Lana still loves you! Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said that she had changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? You damn gorilla! To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. You didn't murder him! It was an accident! Hey, don't go blaming yourself now! If you want to blame anyone, blame society! We live in a society! It's society's fault! Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act! Emma, why don't you wait No. I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Another to be continued? What? No, we're ending this. Trial Ladder 2? What the fuck? February 25th, 2:21 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I have done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister! Now then, your testimony if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Mm-hmm. Sure, bitch. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright! You gotta help her! She's sacrificing herself because of me! But what if she's telling the truth? She's not! I know my sister! Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming out in agony. Yeah. This is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I worked alongside Gant for years. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why... There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's back. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change his statements. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Doc? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Doc was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with even more lies. Oh, just to protect me. So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. Okay, clearly that was important. I'm gonna press the rest, but then I'm gonna come back to that, I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Okay, we gotta come back to that. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the other... Why did you plant the knife? Why did you move the body? Why'd you plant the knife? Why'd you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound? Yes. Because I hated Dark for what he did. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like a murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened! In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying! Looks like she's determined to protect you in the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone! Gotta get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Alright. Where was that one that we saw? Fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the... No, wait. Wait, there was... Wait, can I ask her that question again and get the other option? She did it to help her sister. That's not the point. She was traumatized. That's why I couldn't forgive him. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. First person to discover the body. The tip of Stark's knife and plant it inside the wound, then move the body. How did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body of the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. To get Dark convicted had nothing to do with Emma. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Oh, wait. Well, now we know that Marshall left the Emma message. So you broke the jar because of that, right? Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction? In my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. You have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are, about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at a truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. So, the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's Hey! But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You an ace detective who never miss a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally, I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Oh. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? Oh, she's so cool! It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you would lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Anna, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in the office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Oh, no. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. No, you didn't, because Gant had a piece in his safe. No, you didn't. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time! It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've got to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Well, I know you didn't get all the pieces, because Gant had one in his safe. The fragments are large, I'm sure I got them all. No! Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? You found the final piece of this jar. We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up at the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth. Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jaw was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jaw. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Doc downstairs. Besides, if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Oh. Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Why are you freaking out? Wait, I'm not the one on trial. I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Doc. Sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Oh, she bit her finger! No, I did it on my own! Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief! I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake! Oh, you didn't! It wasn't you, Emma! You didn't kill anyone! Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says! Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients! Foul lies? What? Bitch, I'm helping you! Imagine that, coming from my own client! You know what? Forget this. I'm going home. Hey, Edgeworth, you coming? Coming, babe! I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist it. What?! Oh, wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, maybe right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you do tell foul lies and... no! Miss Sky, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. Oh! But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Yay! Alright, the witness may testify once more, for the final time! There better be no objections at the end of this. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it, but if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember seeing... Oh! In the book! Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. She hid it in the book she gave me. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving a picture. Honestly, she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her. Let's check the evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. In my Evidence Law for Dummies book. Oh, look at it! Oh, it's so cute! P.O. Oh! That is grody! Hey, there's a picture in here. Oh, damn! That looks nasty. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged everything. Crime scene photo from the case 2 years ago. Mr. Wright! That piece cut from the... Oh, that's where her handprint was! The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whosoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. No, Emma! No! What? Those fingerprints? They're yours, Emma! Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? God damn it, Emma. Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murder. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body. Oh! What was that? Oh, fuck! Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Why are you here? Go away! Chief Gantz. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that wrist we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. Oh, he's gonna force Lana to say some bullshit! What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Oh, all the forgery, fucked up shit you have? No! Yes, that's true. Judge! Wait! You mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No! No, Judge, he doesn't! No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Righto? Huh? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? Oh, the handprint! Oh, no! You do have something to show us, right? No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Something that proves you knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? No, I don't know what he's talking about. That man is crazy. If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. Dun, dun, dun! What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? What? No! Hide it! Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gant, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Emma, you know. Wait. Oh no, she doesn't know. When we matched the fingerprints, Emma was, and then Wright realized who the fingerprints belonged to. Emma didn't see that. She asked to know, and then Wright lied and said, "Oh, the fingerprints are too old. I couldn't find anything." So Emma doesn't know. Okay, we found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gantz? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department! Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask me for aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dot convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? He was playing 4D chess! What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on the jar too? Oh! Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean this piece of cloth? Come on, Rado! Cough it up already! I know you have it! Oh no! What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Rado. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. No! I don't want to! Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh yeah! At last, you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean... it could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ha ha ho! You were slow on the uptake as ever, were they? What? Think about it. Rado had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was so reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. No! No! I didn't ask for this! Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person whom these fingerprints belong to is... Emma. Emma? Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? You really something, Rado. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me? So, it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! The Sky, you knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. No. I can explain. The Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy! Not only this trial, but your career, too. No! I still have like 5 sequels left! You can't stop me, Gantz! You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I have your badge, boy! What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you were absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? Nope. I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what can it possibly contradict? She can't. Your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of this vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt's showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh! But that piece of cloth. There's no blood on it! Wait. There's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. This is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armored sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? through the very act of creating insurance, you prove that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. What now? What? He looks so... That was close, Rado! You almost had me, boy! Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. What? Are you serious? Order! Order! What nonsense is this? Legal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Udgy? Earlier, old Rado here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rado? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair! Did you actually think you could best me in court, boy? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son! I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? I did not! I admit, I refused to present it at one point. Ha ha! So the evidence is illegal! No, no, no! No, it isn't, Mr. Gantz. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved in presenting evidence. No, Udgy, don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward you can't really believe! There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you've refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so. Evidence law for dummy, bitch! This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law! What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at this point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth. Nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incidents. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall? When was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. Thank you! You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes! Ha! You dumbass! You admitted to it! No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you! What? I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum! 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, the old crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star and convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room, and all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. Couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it even possible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it all up. I was worried so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on the wall. Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as a crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk. But what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. What? Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. can feel it. You and me, we're the same. Worthy, I am your father. No, no! My daddy died in an elevator accident. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. No! Edgeworth will never become you! Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Urgy. What? Looks like we'll all have to cancel that lunch date. No hookers for me today. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, David Gant. It would have been a pleasure to sniff coke off the ass of strippers once more with you. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Leggy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Rado here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. A sequel, baby! Well, he took that pretty well. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Guy? You no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Guy. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. Oh, she's smiling! I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. The sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few years. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you.
It was nothing. It's not like I care, baka.
Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Stop it! Edgeworth starts turning red. I was only doing my job. It's not like I like him or anything.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Skye. Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Aww! Well, this trial has gone far too long already. I know. This whole thing, it's about it's more than 3 hours. This trial. I thought this was gonna be the finale, but I'm gonna have to like chop this in half. Well, this trial has gone far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, not guilty! Woo! It's time to party, bitches!
That is all. This court is adjourned.
February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court Defendant. Damn, it's 5? Didn't we start like at 10 a.m.? Oh my god, that took forever. At long last, it's finally over. Oh, why are you sad? Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted of a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few years. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. Oh, yes you did, Emma. You were so much help. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Maya. But if you compare, if you compare the two, I feel like Emma, like, helped me a bit more than Maya ever did. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Yeah, that's kind of a bitch move, Lana. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe! What is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty? And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Isn't this like the 3rd time? Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope. Not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Hey! Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me! Oh. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course! You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have! Oh, she's so cute! Oh, Emma! Emma! Oh! He's so cute! No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on towards a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Oh, I hope so, because I like you. Isn't that right? Edgeworth? Is Edgeworth here? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. How cute! Edgeworth's so awkward. Hello. Where was he hiding? He was hiding behind that plant. I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. I love you. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Get your booty back over here. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistake. Edgeworth! It's not your fault! You had nothing to do with this! Mr. Edgeworth? Not only that, I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them, but in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth? Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. No! No! Please, don't leave! No! Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime, but they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. Yay! Edgeworth, you have friends! I have friends? I don't understand these unnecessary feelings. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, what is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright! Show him what Lana's talking about! Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Oh! I know! Our evidence list! That's the picture I drew. See, Edgeworth? We are connected. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth.
What is this? I feel weird! No! No!
And some say on that day, Edgeworth's heart grew 3 sizes that day.
No! No! It's time for me to go! I'm getting out of here!
Mr. Edgeworth! Excuse me, his face is so red. There are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth! Don't leave me, man! I still didn't get my celebratory kiss from you! What'll you do now? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll go off on my own. Get me a couple of sequels, you know? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? Oh! Now kiss! But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. No! Come back! My boyfriend! I better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Aww! Scientific investigation! It's the same ducky! Scientific investigation is the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis! I will! Aww. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective! I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who will be footing the bill. Oh my god. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. I got fired. I'm homeless. Huh? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah! That's a great idea! Come on, guys! Let's go! Hey! Oh, I love that. Oh, I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days as at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with them. Oh, I hope I see them both again! Please! Oh, this case was so good, guys. Gumshoe. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. Yay! You have a job again. If we penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show. You can't shake me off that easily, pal. Oh, Meekins! My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Millie. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm gonna make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe. No one wants to be like Dick Gumshoe. That's the Badger. That's it? It's not gonna do anything? God, I hate this thing. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The right lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? What? Anyway, he said he's been doing, something, other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be— Huh? Oh, no, I forgot my gavel! Sorry, gotta go! Oh, it's Maya! Ah, nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. You better come back, Maya. Mystic Maya! Afternoon trainings must begin! Coming! Well, see you around, Nick! Aw, so Maya's happy. That's good. Where's Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I brought you your tea. What's going on? What was that? No, I want to know! Where is he? Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Aww. Aww. How cute. And we're done, guys. That was Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Alright, that was... Oh my god, that was something right there. Okay, so we have finished the first game in the Ace Attorney series, and if you were wondering, well, it's kind of obvious. I'm obviously going to play all the others, and there's the spin-offs. I know there's 2 Miles Edgeworth games. We are playing those! I know there's 2, like, I guess prequel games that are like, Phoenix's, like, ancestor or something, and it takes place in Great Britain, and apparently there's, like, Sherlock Holmes in it, and a bunch of crazy stuff. We're playing that, too. And I mentioned it before, there's also an anime, and the anime is awesome. Like, it's so funny to me, and Capcom knows what they are doing, okay? They ship Phoenix and Miles together. They have freaking promise rings that go together. Like, come on! Come on! Like, this game was so fun. The cases were so interesting. And I liked how it wasn't easy, especially the last two, Turnabout Goodbyes and Rise from the Ashes. They were not easy to figure out. Like, from Rise from the Ashes, the whole thing with the blue badger drawing, and how you had to flip the vase around, and then it looked like the blue badger from a weird angle. Like, oh my god, like, all these new mechanics, like the luminol spray, the fingerprint thing, all those things were cool. I hope things like that come back in the sequels, because that was just so much fun. Damn, I feel bad for Edgeworth. I hope I see him again. I don't want to lose him. He's my boyfriend. You can't have Phoenix Wright without Miles Edgeworth. That just doesn't work. Oh my god, I wonder what the sequel's gonna be like. Because there's like, what, there's this game, and then there's Trials and Tribulations, Justice for All, and then, there's like a spin-off called, I think it's a sequel to, like, the original trilogy. It's called Apollo Justice. I guess that's like, I don't know, Phoenix's son or something? I don't know. or his student? I don't know. And then there's, Dual Destinies. And then there's like another one. Spirit something. I can't remember what that is. And the 2 Miles Edgeworth games. And then the two prequel games, The Great Ace Attorney, that takes place in Britain. There's those. And I think that's all of them? I think. But, yeah, guys, I really enjoyed this game. I had so much fun. As you can tell, I enjoyed voicing all the characters, even though every time after I end my recording of each episode, my throat just feels like I gargled rocks. Like, right now, my throat hurts so much, but I'm so happy, so I don't care. So, I don't know when I'll play the sequel. I mean, I will play them. I just don't know if I want to just jump right into it or if I want to give it a minute. I don't know. But, yeah. Anyway, guys. Oh, I almost forgot. Who do you think... I asked this earlier, but who do you think was a better villain? Von Karma or Damon Gant? I'm trying to think of, like, who was more evil. I think they both have, like, their... I don't know, because Damon Gant is just, like... I don't know, he's scary, whereas Von Karma's, like, conniving, if that makes sense. Like, you don't look at Von Karma and get intimidated, but Damon Gant looks like he could skullfuck you. So... Oh man, I don't know. And I was trying to think while I was playing this this trial. I was comparing it to Turnabout Goodbyes. I like Turnabout Goodbyes because I love Edgeworth and I loved getting more backstory on him, and I just love the fact that everything was just about him because Edgeworth is bae. But for Rise from the Ashes, I loved all the new DS exclusive mechanics. So I don't know which I think is better. They're both so good. And apparently, in the sequels, the cases get even crazier, so I don't even know what to think. Oh, but yeah, I'm already, as you can see, I'm an Ace Attorney fan now. It's fantastic. So if you made it to the end of this episode, thank you so much. Please leave a like and a favorite. Subscribe to the channel. I don't even know, man. This was awesome. Have a lovely day or night, wherever you are in the world. Know that you are loved, and I will see you all in my next Let's Play. Alright, guys. Bye-bye.